Hi and welcome back to Creations by Meraki. I am Jazz and today we're going to be teaching you how to do a Dutch braid. So we're going to start with the Dutch Plat. So just start by sectioning the top section of the hair away from the bottom section so you've got a smaller portion to handle. It's great for starting to learn how to Dutch braid. It's a lot easier than holding all of the hair in your hands when you're first learning. So just smoothing that out with our hands. And then once that's nice and smooth, we're just going to separate it into 3 equal sections. Like so. And we're going to start off with the left section and we're just going to put that underneath the middle section. And I'm just holding that with my middle finger and then grabbing the middle section with my left hand and holding it there, just transferring it to my left hand and then grabbing the right hand side and putting that underneath the middle section. Particularly take note of how my hands are right now and how I'm using my middle finger to hold the middle strand, so it's easier to put the side strands underneath it. So we're just putting the right hand side underneath the middle side and then pulling tight, and I'm just holding it there with my thumb just as a clip, just to make sure that it doesn't move out of place. So again, putting the right hand side underneath the middle, and I'm just holding that middle with my middle strand with my middle finger. So we're just continuing this all the way down. So just putting the right hand strand underneath the middle and the left hand strand underneath the middle. This is a really nice half up, half down look as well if you just wanted to chuck a band in the bottom of the plait. See how the braid is on the outside? That's how you know it's a Dutch braid. So we'll just show you that one more time, just to get you nice and used to how to braid in a Dutch braid. So we've got our 3 even sections and we're just going to take the left hand side and put that underneath the middle section. Grab the middle section with your left hand and you're just holding that middle section with your middle finger. So now right hand side underneath the middle and then just pulling tight and holding with my thumb. So left hand side underneath the middle, and see how I'm holding that with my middle finger and then I transfer it into my left hand, and vice versa with the right hand side. So right hand side underneath the middle, holding it there with my middle finger, then dropping it and putting the left hand side underneath the middle. And we're just going to continue this all the way down, just getting used to our hands moving in this way and the procedure of putting each strand underneath the middle strand, just to get used to it. Okay, so now we're just going to take this out and we're going to move into the Dutch braid. This is just a singular Dutch braid that we're going to be doing today. You can also apply this to like 2 Dutch braids, which is really nice style. So we've just got our 3 even strands. And we're going to start with the left hand side and put that underneath the middle, and then the right hand side underneath the middle, creating a nice good base there. Then left hand side underneath the middle, and now we're just going to grab a strand from the front and add that in to that middle section now, and then pulling tight. So same procedure as the Dutch Plat, but we're adding hair in. So right hand side underneath the middle, and then see how I'm using my finger to hold that there, and then we're grabbing a strand from the front and adding that in to the right hand side before we put it underneath the middle, and then just transferring that underneath the middle and holding it there with our middle finger. So left hand side underneath the middle, grabbing a strand from the front, adding that in, and then pulling tight. The middle now becomes the left hand side, and the left hand side now becomes the middle, and we're just holding that there with our middle finger. So we're just grabbing a strand from the front, adding that into the middle, and then pulling tight. So the left hand side, hold that with your middle finger, and then grabbing a strand from the front, adding that in to that section and pulling that into the middle. So we've got the right hand strand now. We're going to pop that into our middle finger and then grab a strand from the front and add that in, and then pull tight and hold that there with your thumb as a clip so that the hair doesn't move and each section stays left, middle or right, rather than they get all mixed up. It gets confusing. So left hand strand into the middle, and then putting that right hand strand underneath, holding that there with our middle finger, and then grabbing a strand from the front and putting that into that. So we're just continuing this down till we have no strands left. Now that we're at the base of the braid, it's just going to be exactly like the Dutch Plat, where we just put the right hand side underneath the middle strand, and then the left hand side underneath the middle strand, and the right hand side underneath the middle strand, and the left hand side. And we're just continuing that all the way down. And once you reach the bottom of your hair, feel free to add a band in the bottom just to secure it and make sure it stays in place. And see, that is how you do a Dutch braid, where the braid is sticking out of the hair. And then feel free to undo it and redo it as many times as you want. The more you practice, the better you will get at it. So I will just quickly show you one more time. So we're just separating again into 3 even strands. You guys will be pretty used to the separating by now. So putting the left hand side underneath the middle strand, holding it there with our middle finger, transferring it, and then the right hand side underneath the middle strand. I'm just holding that there with my thumb, and we're just grabbing a section from the front on the left hand side, adding that into the left hand side, and then putting that underneath the middle, which now the left hand side becomes the middle. So the right hand side, Just holding that there with our middle fingers, grabbing a strand from the front, adding that into the braid, and then we're going to be transferring the right hand side underneath the middle and pulling tight and just securing it with our thumb there. So left hand side, grabbing a strand from the front, adding it in, putting it underneath the middle, and then the left hand side now becomes the middle. So we're going to be doing the same thing with the right hand side. And the left hand side. So just grabbing a section from the front, adding that into the left hand strand, pulling that underneath the middle and securing it there with your thumb. And we're just going to be continuing this all the way down again until there's no strands to grab from the front of the head, or loose strands of hair I should say. So with the bottom section that you're adding into the hair, the last one that you add in, make sure you pull nice and tight. It'll just make sure the bottom of the braid stays nice and tight and doesn't get all loose on the neck. So now it's just like a Dutch braid, and we're just putting right hand side underneath the middle and the left hand side underneath the middle. And then again, once you get to the bottom of your hair, just securing it with a hairband, and that's how you have a Dutch braid where the braid is sticking out of the hair. And this is a base for so many other hairstyles and braids that will be coming soon. So that's how to do a Dutch braid, everybody. It was so nice to have you all back. I hope you all are well, and I hope to see you next week. Stay groovy and keep expressing yourselves.